to the Alex and Ava Podcast, where we help you learn real English for real life. Ava, today we're talking about advanced yet accessible English phrases. Why is it important for beginners to learn these?
Great question, Alex. Using natural phrases helps you sound more like a native speaker and makes conversations smoother. Native English speakers rarely use textbook sentences. They use expressions that show friendliness and confidence.
That's so true. Sometimes, sticking to basic phrases can make you sound robotic or less engaged. But when you use the right expressions, even simple ones, people connect with you more easily.
Exactly. Plus, learning these phrases early boosts your listening skills too. When you hear them in movies or real conversations, you'll recognize them instantly and respond naturally.
Let's kick things off with small talk, those little conversations that start friendships and build trust. Ava, what are some examples of natural small talk openers?
One of my favorites is, "It's been a while." This phrase is warm and signals you care about reconnecting. Another classic is, "How have you been?" It's more personal than just, "How are you?"
Absolutely, and responding with "not too bad" keeps things casual. It's interesting studies show that small talk increases feelings of belonging. Even brief exchanges can brighten someone's day.
Right. Small talk isn't just about filling silence. It's a social glue. If you're shy, practicing these phrases can make starting conversations much less intimidating.
Moving on, let's cover polite ways to ask for help or time, which is essential in English-speaking cultures. Ava, can you walk us through some key phrases?
Sure. Saying, "Would you mind waiting a moment?" is much softer than "wait." It shows respect for the other person's time. And when someone asks you to wait, replying, "Take your time," expresses patience and understanding.
That's a great point. In fact, using polite requests can make people more willing to help. Psychologists say that framing requests with kindness boosts cooperation by up to 30% compared to direct commands.
Exactly. And tone matters too. Even the most polite phrase can sound rude if said harshly. Smiling and speaking gently make a big difference.
Now, let's tackle a tricky area agreeing and disagreeing politely. Why is it important to express opinions gently in English conversations?
In many English-speaking countries, being direct can sometimes come across as rude. Using phrases like, "I see your point," but signals that you respect the other person's view even if you disagree.
I like that approach. Saying, "fair enough," or "everyone has different taste," keeps the conversation positive and shows open-mindedness. Imagine you're in a meeting, these phrases can really help avoid conflict.
Absolutely. It's not just about being polite, it's about keeping relationships strong. Research from workplace studies shows teams that use positive disagreement phrases collaborate better and resolve issues faster.
Let's shift gears to making suggestions and giving feedback. Ava, how can listeners offer ideas without sounding bossy or negative?
A gentle way is to ask, "Have you considered?" It opens up possibilities instead of giving orders. And when you hear a suggestion, responding with, "That's a good idea," or "Maybe I'll try that," encourages teamwork.
That's a helpful strategy. In fact, studies in education show students respond better to feedback framed as suggestions rather than criticisms. It boosts motivation and creativity.
Exactly. Practicing these phrases not only helps you sound more natural, but also makes you a better communicator in group settings, like class or work.
Next up, let's talk about upgrading basic responses. Ava, why should learners move beyond words like okay or yes?
Repeating basic words can make your English sound flat. Swapping "I don't know" for "I'm not sure" or "okay" for "sounds good" adds personality and shows you understand the subtleties of the language.
That's so true. For example, saying absolutely instead of just yes communicates enthusiasm. These small changes help you fit in better with native speakers who rarely use one-word answers.
Definitely. Using these alternatives can also help you express your feelings more accurately, which is key for building rapport and trust in conversations.
Let's put all this into practice with some role play. Ava, why is practicing through scenarios so effective for language learners?
Role-play lets you use phrases in context, which is the fastest way to remember them. It's like rehearsing for real life, so when you face similar situations, you're ready to respond confidently.
Exactly. For example, if someone says, "Do you want to meet at 3 p.m.?" you can naturally reply, "That works for me," Practicing these exchanges out loud helps commit them to memory.
And don't worry about making mistakes. The goal is progress, not perfection. Each time you try, you get a little bit closer to sounding like a native speaker.
Many learners worry about making mistakes or forgetting phrases. Ava, how can listeners overcome this fear and keep improving?
First, remember that everyone makes mistakes as native speakers. What matters is trying and learning. Setting small goals, like learning one new phrase a day, can make progress feel manageable.
That's encouraging. Studies show that practicing in low-pressure situations, like talking to yourself or with friends, builds confidence. Over time, these new phrases become second nature.
Exactly. Celebrate small wins and don't compare yourself to others. Every bit of practice adds up, and soon you'll notice your conversations getting smoother and more enjoyable.
Let's review the key phrases from today's episode. Ava, can you recap some of the most useful expressions we've covered?
Of course, we learned it's been a while for reconnecting. Would you mind waiting a moment? For polite requests, I see your point, but for gentle disagreement, and that works for me as an advanced response.
Great summary. Remember, using these phrases in context is the best way to master them. Try to use at least one in your conversations this week and see how people respond.
And don't forget to listen for them when watching shows or listening to podcasts. The more you hear and use these expressions, the more natural they'll feel.
Before we wrap up, let's talk motivation. Learning a language can feel overwhelming. Ava, what's your advice for staying on track and building English into a daily habit?
The key is consistency. Set aside just 10 minutes a day to practice speaking or listening. Use podcasts like ours, repeat phrases, and try journaling in English. Little steps add up quickly.
That's right. And remember, celebrating small achievements keeps you motivated. Every new phrase you learn is a tool you can use in real life, so be proud of your progress.
Exactly. Language learning is a journey, not a race. Stay curious, keep practicing, and enjoy each moment of improvement. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and come back for more beginner-friendly English practice. Remember, learning English is a journey. Keep moving forward and don't give up.